Hey everybody, my name is Mr. Like, and welcome to Like Science. I hope you're ready to have some fun, because for the next couple of weeks, we get to be scientists. Scientists are people that look around the world and try to figure out how it works. They look for patterns in the world, they look at energy, they look to make models of things and try to put things into systems. So what I would like to do is kind of look around and figure out some of the cool things that we might want to investigate. I actually found one. Let me show you. So my wife and I, every fall, we put out kind of a display in our front yard. So let me take you out here. And it's just kind of a regular fall display. You know how it works. We've got a couple of scarecrows and some sunflowers. They're actually fake. And I threw some corn out there just for fun. I want you to take a look at this corn, though. What do you notice about that corn? What do you see going on in that corn? This was amazing to me. This corn is actually starting to grow. We had a rainstorm a couple of days ago, so I think this corn got wet. Can corn just grow if it gets wet? Well, apparently. I think this deserves more investigation. I brought my corn out here so we could take a closer look. Let's see what we can't figure out. What are some observations that we can make about this corn? I can tell you right now, it's kind of smelly. Things that I see is that the corn has a cob here in the middle, and then it has these seeds that are stuck inside it. It looks like the kernel things, or the little shoots here, are kind of coming out of the seeds. Do all plants need seeds? I'm going to take a look around my backyard at some other plants and see if I can't find seeds in them as well. So it looked to me like almost every plant I found had seeds in it. How does that tiny little seed grow into such a big plant? I think we need to do some more investigating. Okay, so our first investigation that I think we should do is really take a look at some seeds. I got a whole bunch of seeds here that I want to kind of look at and figure out what's going on with them. So the first thing I want to do is I'm actually going to do a dissection. A dissection is where scientists take things apart to see what the pieces are. So for my dissection, I have a whole bunch of seeds right here to figure out which one I want to do. I got some pliers, they look like they might be something that I would need. And I got some of these little screwdrivers because I think it's easy to pry things apart with that. So the seed that I'm going to dissect is actually this sweet pea right here. You guys can do this at home if you have any seeds around the house. You can buy sweet peas. Some people maybe, if you have some corn, that would be great. or just, peas that you get out of a can would be fine as well. So I'm going to take apart this sweet pea. So first off, I'm going to take apart the pea pod to get to the actual seeds that are on the inside. So I may have to do a little bit of a slice here, just to kind of get this thing open. Ooh, and you'll see that there's a bunch of peas on the inside. Can you see those? And they all appear to be stuck to the pea pod. Let's take one of these peas out so we can see what's involved with it. So if I look at this pea closely, I can see that it's got kind of round on the round on the outside, and it has this little stem. And that stem was what was connected to the pea pod, right? So I'm going to take this pea, and I'm going to try and break it open. So let's do a tiny little cut here, just around the outside. I'm actually going to try to break through what's known as the seed coat. Now you can try this at home if you have some seeds. You can use peas that are actually just peas from a can if you want to try that. If you use some other seeds like sunflower seeds or something, you may want to get them wet before you do this. It makes it a little bit easier. Okay, so I'm going to break this apart, and we can see that inside there's a bunch of stuff. So on the very outside of the seed is what's known as the seed coat. This big stuff in the middle, this thick stuff in the middle, is called the cotyledon. And the cotyledon kind of fills up most of the seed. However, there is a tiny little part of the seed right here that's called the embryo. And that tiny little part of the seed is kind of an interesting thing. It looks like it's connected to the cotyledon and maybe a little bit to this stem. So inside seeds, there's a seed coat. That's the outside covering. There's the cotyledon, which is the thick part that makes up most of the seed. And then there's the tiny little embryo on the inside. Let's take a look at one of our pieces of corn and see if it has the same things in it. I tore off a piece of our corn that already started to grow. And this is what I found. Here's the corn, the piece of corn from outside my front yard, and it has something. You can see the shoot starting to grow off of the outside of the seed. It's actually coming out of the seed. And right here, it also appears to have something cool right there as well. Let's see if we can't take this apart and figure out what's going on the inside. So this piece of corn is actually pretty hard. Let me see if I can get through the seed coat here. Find out what's going on the inside. You got to be very careful when you're cutting things. We always want to have safety first. Okay, here we go. So, what do we see? Well, it looks like I see the cotyledon in here. This thick stuff right in here is called the cotyledon. And it looks like that tiny little embryo, which was connected to the bottom of the seed here, is actually what's growing the shoot on the outside. So that little embryo is actually getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Let's see if we can't figure out how that happens and what are the things that it needs in order to make it grow better. We've done some really cool things with seeds. What I want you to do now is take out the worksheet that goes along with this video. On that worksheet, there's a place where you can make a drawing of a seed. A drawing of a seed is called a model. Scientists make models when we try to explain how things in nature work. So on your model of a seed, I want you to draw a circle that looks kind of like a seed, and I want you to label a couple of things. Can you label what the seed coat and where it is on your model? Can you label the cotyledon on the inside of the seed? And then maybe draw a little embryo also on the inside of the seed. After you do that, you're probably going to come up with a lot of questions. There's a link at the bottom of your worksheet to a post-it board where you can post some of these questions. I'm going to take a look at these, and so can everyone else, so that we can figure out what we want to investigate next. So come up with some great questions, future scientists, and we'll start getting to work.